Hello and welcome to another edition of Power of the Pen. I am LaWanna Bradford. And for those of you that are joining us, you know, I love all things books. And I am so excited because not only is it Women's History Month, but it's also National Reading Month. And in honor of Dr. Seuss, this month is celebrated to encourage individuals of all ages to read, to explore and expand your knowledge and lived experience through the power of the pen. And today I'm excited because I have a very special guest, a friend, a business associate, Miss Cornelia Brown, who is an author. She has written a book called When Black and White Make Brown. We're going to be talking about her latest book, which is a children's book, and I'll introduce that book in a minute. But she's also a realtor. She's an inspirational speaker, a motivator, a woman who really is encouraging to create a world of peace, of harmony, by having those narratives shifting, the narratives and how we engage with one another, to create a world of understanding, of acceptance, and of belonging. And this children's book is one that nails all of those points on the head. So right now, I'd like you to meet Cornelia Brown. How's it going, Cornelia?
It is going great. Hello, Miss LaWanna. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us on Power of the Pen. And today we're going to be talking about Franzl, the little frog from Vabaria.
That's a mouthful, isn't it?
It's a mouthful, but it rolls nicely off the tongue. So I want to ask you, I mean, your book, and it's interesting because both of these books touch on the concept of diversity, right? And embracing differences in their own unique way. One is written for obviously that adult reader, but it's still a lesson. It's still an experience that we have to share with our younger children to help them be more aware and more accepting. Why did you feel it was important for you to write this book about Franzl, the little frog from Vabaria?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for giving authors a platform. And I absolutely love the title, The Power of the Pen, because there really is power in the pen. When you allow your life experiences flow through it and put it on paper. So I want to thank you for this, first of all.
You're welcome.
So what inspired me to write this book? What inspires me to any of my writings? Anything that I have written always talks about diversity, always will ask people to begin to open their minds and their hearts up, you know, and begin to reach out across their so-called cultural labels that people have put on them and begin to find out what an absolutely amazing, colorful world we really have. So when I first came over to America, and you know, I am a first generation immigrant. I guess I always hear that terminology. So that's what I am. I was like, wow, that's me. I'm a first generation immigrant for my family. And I had so much to learn. I was 19 years old when I married my husband. And the following year, when I was 20, had my children. And so my husband was in the military, always gone, always, you know, somewhere doing his part to make this world a better place. And so I had to begin to teach my children. And one thing that I always believed is reading to your child. And I've always believed, even when your child goes to public school, The parent needs to homeschool. There is not, okay, there is public schooling or homeschooling. It should be public school and homeschooling. So I began to teach my children animal sounds when they were toddlers. And you know that so most moms do that. And I taught my children the frog says quack. I did not know. I did not know. I never knew. So my children went to school telling others that their frog says quack. And my husband came home and heard me read a story, and he said, "Please don't ever teach the children that again." And I looked at him and see, this is where we begin. It is really funny, but those were those cultural differences where we begin to have to explore. I said, "Well, what does the frog say?" And he says, "It says ribbit."
Yeah.
And absolutely not. I've never heard that ever before. So I was like, and my husband said, "You know how Bernard is." My husband is very matter of fact military. He says, "Well, the frog speaks frog and not duck. The duck says quack and the frog says ribbit." So we had the worst argument, you know, newly married, little kids, being from different cultures. And so for some odd reason, that those moments imprinted themselves in my heart. Of course, I went back to my children and say, in America, the frog says ribbit. In Germany, it does says quack. But then we begin to explore. In Korea, it says something different. In Thailand, it says something different. And we begin to literally have fun exploring other nations and what they are teaching their children, and begin to have fun with different languages and different experiences. And with such a tiny yet teachable moment, you can really bring your children out of the norm and into the world of, you know, just beautiful language. And so this is what it came from, where I began to teach my children that the frog speaks like a duck.
I love that. And that's what's so amazing is that we can pull so much from our lived experiences. And this month, for Women's History Month, the theme is women who tell our stories. And stories can take on different flavors, right? Different styles. And we're speaking specifically about our children's books, but you can take a very deep and impactful topic and make it in a way that it creates a greater sense of awareness of self first, awareness of the environment that the children exist in, and then an awareness and appreciation of others, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things, Miss Wanda, it begins with our children. And our children repeat what we teach them. So, you know, the journey of that little frog is coming over from a different place. And so many people ask me, why didn't you call it Bavaria, like where you are from? And they actually think I misspelled it. And I was like, no, because I wanted it to be a different place than just where I come from. I wanted to be a place, you know, that I can draw from later on with other children's books. So, but what so many parents don't realize, teach your children that other children may speak different languages. They may be from different places. Their animal sounds may be different. Their culture, their food is different. Everything may be different, but you always treat each other with respect. You never laugh or bully one another. And if you really give it a chance, you will learn so much, and your children will begin to have a totally different look at the world, and not just what they see at home, but they regurgitate how we feel about different people. They regurgitate what we are teaching them. And so this is what this story is, again, about teaching from a young age on to not bully one another for being different, but to embrace the differences and learn from it.
I love that. I know a lot of people now are adding children's books to their collection of writing. Yolanda King, daughter of, or Bernice King, I'm sorry. Bernice King, daughter of Martin Luther King Jr., just came out with a children's book. Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress, has her children's book. And when you look at the topics, they're pretty weighty, but again, they're packaged in a way so that children can understand, because our children are, as you said, they're mini me's, right? Running around. And they're sponges, and they will emulate what they see, what they hear. And I think I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we have a responsibility to give our best so that children show up in the world being better and doing better.
Absolutely. And especially, we live in the United States of America, where so many different nations and cultures have come together. And, sometimes you would think after so many years that we could get it right. But it truly, is, it really has become a nation of labels. And, and each label, everyone go to their own corner, and then every blue moon come out and mix and mingle and then go back to their corners. But let me tell you, especially in my family, where it is so blended, you never, and then when you throw my foreign exchange students in it, you will never know what nation lives here and what anyone really is. And where we begin not just to look at what the labels that humanity has put on us, but what's inside of us. And not negate, one of the things is that we want to celebrate the differences that we have. They are not, so often I tell people diversity is not such a challenge if you teach your children from beginning, and where they can ask each other freely questions when it's different. Nowadays, everyone is terrified just to ask the wrong question and just to say the wrong thing. But we have to bring certain things to the table and discuss it, so we as humanity can come together and make this a better place.
Yes.
The frogs figured it out.
Yes, Franzl figured it out. well, let's ask. I want to ask you this. So about Franzl's journey, where he ended up meeting new friends, and friends who didn't look like him, didn't speak like him. I want you to talk to our audience out there, and I'm speaking specifically to our adult audience, because I hear a lot of women say, "Oh, I believe in diversity, I believe in inclusion," but if you ask them, "Well, do you have friends of another background, ethnic background?" Typically, they'll say yes, but then when you follow the question with, "When's the last time they came to your home for dinner?" You get quiet.
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Right? So what can we say to each other, to the women out there? I mean, when your book is celebrating diversity, it's not just friends in word, but it's friend in deeds, right? And that really walking arm in arm with that person that may not look like you or think like you or act like you, but you're able to embrace one another.
This is so important, because one of the things I tell people all the time, diversity is not just to when you tolerate someone being around you, when you tolerate it in the workplace because you have to, because it's against the law and you don't want to get in trouble. When you tolerate it at church, when you tolerate it, when you go shopping. True diversity, when you embrace it, you and I will look at each other and we see we are different, but we are curious about it, but in a loving way, where that curiosity, I'm allowed to say, Miss LaWanna, tell me, this looks different to me, and I want to understand it better. I don't get it. I really don't get it. And I can honestly ask in respect a question where you can respond to me and teach me. Or you may ask me, what is going on in Europe during this time, and why is this such a way? And I don't immediately get offended, because I know who you are. I know you embrace, you don't just tolerate. And see, this is where this story is leading. First of all, it is when your child sees another child being bullied for being different in school, your child has to make a choice by what it's been taught from at home. Either been taught, stay out of everybody's business, don't get involved, okay? Or you need to join the bullies because your child want to be accepted by the bullies, or haven't learned that different can be a good thing, and it's going to stand by this child. So here, that little frog came from a different country. He ended up in a pond where everybody was laughing at him. And but there were other friends that helped him through that transition. And so often when we see somebody that's so different from us, we pull away because we may, when you get involved, that means that your belief system and everything that you are is becoming involved. And so what it is trying to teach the children here in this book is to help, to introduce, to teach, to, again, not bully, and all these simple things that we might think they should know already. But let me tell you, a lot of them are not. They don't understand. And, I used to be a foreign exchange student coordinator. And if you live in a mono-racial environment, okay, and you may not be able to help it. You may live in an area. I grew up in Bavaria, Germany, back in the 60s and 70s. It really was not diverse. Ever so often there may be a soldier, an African-American soldier, or someone that made their way to the city, but it wasn't diverse. But here's the thing, through foreign exchange students, you can introduce different languages. You can explore where the child is not only learning about America, but learning about from their countries. But you have it even here. You have so many opportunities that we sometimes just don't cease to teach. And that's what this book is trying to show the parent what you can do with that.
I love that, because when you think about just the hate that's there, right? A lot of the hate crimes and the bullying, it's born out of fear. And that fear is because you don't know, you don't understand. But once that bridge of communication and acceptance and allowing happens, then we can truly become a community of love. But you have to be willing to say, okay, I don't get this, and I'm willing to lean in, I'm willing to listen, I'm willing to understand. I may not totally get it, right? Because I'm not Franzl, I'm not a frog, right? I may be a duck, so I don't know what it's like to leap around. I know what it's like to fly, but I can understand his journey because I'm listening to it. Does that make sense?
Totally. Absolutely. And again, as the stories that we read to our children, it's important to have fun, and it's important to share fairy tales. But one of the things is there is a lesson in all these children's books. So it's also, we want to have a library that teaches about diversity and what that means. We want to have a library where we can show our children, this is what could happen, and this is what you could do to make it better, and make them a part of the journey to make this world a better place. And our children, we know the song, God bless Whitney Houston, but our children are our future. What we pour into them is going to, the world is going to either benefit or be
Yes.
severely damaged by it. And that's what we don't want to do, to raise a child that doesn't know what to do with diverse people and begins to damage the world.
Do you have your book by you?
I have it right here. Yes, ma'am. Right here.
I'm going to ask you, can you, because I want the audience to hear the first page and the last page of your book. So would you mind reading to us? Story time.
Absolutely not. Okay. First of all, let me see. I don't know how to hold it.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So the first thing that I want to tell everyone, the reason I named him Franzl is to honor my dad. My dad's favorite yodeler, he loves to yodel, is Franzl Lang. And if you look him up, you will find him. He's a wonderful yodeler. And so that's why I named him Franzl, because it's a yodeling little frog. But here you go. One day, Daisy, the beautiful butterfly, flew over a pond by the mountains of a beautiful place called Vabaria. The water sparkled as if 1,000,000 diamonds had dropped from the sky. The wind gently swept over the pond and created little waves. Suddenly, Daisy heard joyful singing from the lily pad. Quack, 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 holoriti, quack. She decided to follow the sound only to see a precious, joyful little frog wearing an adorable hat, singing and dancing on the lily pad. She asked the frog why he was in such a happy mood and having so much fun. The frog said, "I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to meet you, butterfly." So now we go to the end of the story. The last page here on the picture, I want everyone to know my little granddaughter, Macy, participated in creating that little girl. And that's really Macy, she's in here. And so she made sure the hair and the body and the skin color was what she thought it needed to be. So there were these. So let me just lead up to this story. This is the frog has been teased and has been abused by the other frogs, and other animals joined in and said, "Don't do that." And they began to teach the other frogs that it's not okay. And all of them decided we're going to have a big party. And during that party, we're going to introduce everyone to one another, and we are going to enjoy one another. So there are two geese named Luther and Lucy, and actually those two geese come to our pond. I live by a pond, and those two geese come every single year, and we named them Luther and Lucy. So Luther and Lucy told them that they better not be mean and watch them carefully. They even told them that they have been all over the world, and they heard the German frog say quack. The Chinese frog says woo, woo. The Turkish frog says rick. And the Thai frog says oh, oh. They told them that all languages are beautiful. Lucy added, and by the way, the little frog can say both quack and ribbit. And he is even learning other frog languages. So instead of making fun, why don't you try learning new languages too? Macy, the cute little girl, came to and danced to the beautiful frog song by Franzl and Daisy. Suddenly, one of the frogs also began to sing. Ribbit, ribbit, welcome Franzl from Vabaria. Ribbit. He then said, "I'm so sorry for being mean to you." Franzl began to smile and quacked even louder. And every once in a while, he even said, "Ribbit, ribbit." It was the best party ever. So if you are ever by a pond Ask your parents to take you out in the moonlight. Look for the dragonflies, and you just might hear the frogs singing in their beautiful languages. Some sing ribbit, others sing quack. It just depends what country they came from. Each is equally beautiful and important, and no one should laugh and ever be mean. Some of your friends may be from a different country and speak differently, but remember not to laugh at them. Be their friend and maybe even learn to speak their language and help them to learn yours. Have a ribbit, hollerity, quack kind of beautiful day.
Thank you so much. I love that. That is so amazing and such a powerful lesson. And I love that you ended with that call to action. You know, what can children do next? Now that I have this understanding, how can I participate? How can I be a part of the solution? Right?
That's what we want our children be. I love what you said. Be always a part of the solution. Don't be the problem, be a part of the solution.
Is there going to be more children's books in your horizon?
Yes, I'm so glad you asked me. I'm working on one right now. My publisher is when are the next pages coming because they are drawing the pictures right now. I am part of an organization called DKMS that deals with bone marrow transplants. And one of the things when I found out many years ago that the African American community and the mixed blended community of any kind has the lowest matches out there of anyone, I was like, here too, we can become part of the solution. We can teach right from the beginning. So I have a children's series called Constance the Little Angel. The first book, Constance the Little Angel, was about a little mixed girl not understanding exactly where she belongs. And throughout the story, she found that she belonged. She belonged. And so Constance is on a job constantly from God. And so God now is sending her, he's given her a healing serum. And he says, you need to find a loving human being to give this serum to, which is the bone marrow, that mixed blended, especially blended bone marrow. That's so hard to find. And give it to another human being that is willing to re-gift it. Because, and God is telling her, you cannot keep it to yourself. You can help. So that is the journey that Angel is on, and I cannot wait to share it. And, you know, to also tell parents to show their children, you know, that there's hope. There are so many children, Miss LaWanna, right now in the hospitals waiting for their matches. And one of the things that it doesn't have to be blood cancer. You have sickle cell anemia. You have so many different diseases that the affliction is mainly for the Black or brown communities of the world. And here we can make a difference. I can't wait to share with you what Constance is up to.
I love it. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll close out with a few last words from you, okay?
Awesome.
We are here with Cornelia Brown and talking about her new children's book, Franzl, the Little Frog from Vabaria. And if you want to be a guest on Power of the Pen, if you have a book that is designed to inspire, uplift, elevate, inform, and educate women and men from around the world, please reach out to us and we'll see if this makes sense for you. But this is a platform designed to just create awareness to celebrate the authors, celebrate their works. And I really thought this was just a perfect timing to have Cornelia on, because it is National Reading Awareness Month in the honor of Dr. Seuss. And again, it's the whole purpose is to encourage our youth and our adults, people from all ages, to explore the world of reading. And can't wait to hear about your next book. And Connie, what I'm going to do is I want to take myself down for a moment and allow you a chance to speak directly to our audience about whatever messages that you want to share regarding diversity and inclusion and being on the path where we are able to accept one another and allow each other to be and live in peace, love, and harmony.
Well, once again, LaWanna, you are just an absolute treasure, and I appreciate so much being able to be here and speak to the audience. First of all, I want to let everyone know we still have a lot of work to do in the matter of diversity and truly embracing one another. Yes, we have come a long way, but there are so many different places where you see that people are not comfortable with speaking to one another, with bringing their kids together, their children. Even on the playgrounds, you see that, especially when there are children from other nations there, that they tend to flock to one another, and children separate each other out because the parents are not comfortable. But there is a time, especially in a child's life, and I want to say the toddlers are awesome. The toddlers will play with one another. The toddlers don't even care about skin color, about language, or anything, until they're being taught by the adult. So I encourage you as an adult, establish a library at home. Especially reading. This month is celebrating reading. And, the laptops and computers and everything that we have are great and fine, but nothing replaces taking a book and reading to your child. And so I encourage you in having a library that teaches about diversity, that pulls out how people live in different countries, that you may have a book that teaches about different languages, and share with your child and allow your child to ask questions. That is the key. We don't ask enough questions. When we don't understand, we tend to just withdraw, or bully. That's one of the things, and we don't want our children to do. You want to always have an open communication and let your child know if you see someone at school that is different from you and you don't understand, come home, let's read about it, let's talk about it. That is, communication is the key with everything, and this is what I want to encourage you as an adult too. Find literature where you can read what people are going through. In my book, Black and White Makes Brown, I share, what people on the outside, how they were treating us being, in what people call an interracial marriage. But also I shared what I felt. I shared what my husband felt. And then, how our children, how we taught our children, you do not have to become what others label you. You need to know who you are, whose you are. You are important. Guys, everyone is important. Everyone has an intricate part in this world to make it a better place. And that may sound a little corny, but just think about it. If everyone today would just reach out to someone that is different and let them know that you would like to be their friend, that you would like to help, if they are having difficulty, you would like to help to make their entry into the United States easier, better, and that is just something that all of my books are talking about. And it's just been an absolute pleasure. And I'm always here for anyone that would like to hear more about it. Thank you, Ms. LaWanna.
Thank you so very much for saying yes, for taking time out of your schedule to join us here on Power of the Pen. Please reach out to Cornelia Brown. You can find her on all things social media and learn more about her book, When Black and White Makes Brown. If you want to have those conversations about diversity, inclusion, and belonging, that's a really powerful message and narrative that's happening right now. So get involved, be a part of the change, part of the solution. And also, if you want to bring that message home to your children, I want to show this again, and you're wondering, how can I do that in a fun and loving way? It's Franzl, the little frog from Vabaria. And I think you'll be pleased with both books. So again, thank you so very much, Connie, for joining us. And we'll have to have you back when you have your new children's book launched, yes?
I would love to. And like we say in Germany, vielen herzlichen Dank for everything. So thank you so much from the heart.
Bitteschön.
Awesome. You see, we're doing it. We are doing it.
Yes. Well, to those of you that are joining us on another edition of Power of the Pen, thank you so very much. We will see you next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And just remember that in life and in business, when your vision intersects with opportunity, success is inevitable. But it's important for you to elevate your voice. Be a part of the change. Be a part of the solution. And remember to pick up the power of the pen. Until next time, goodbye, everyone.